All right. So I went back in my videos just to see what that day was. And so it wasn't much, but it was so it was from Pennsylvania to Elkton, Maryland. Sorry about this. It's bothering me. To Elkton, Maryland. It was 50 miles, but the elevation was 2,900 feet. And I was having a mentally rough day that day. Like, I just wasn't feeling it. It was a rough day mentally. And then the hills just wouldn't stop. And I was in so much pain. I was just like, the pain was getting me even more mentally exhausted. Finally got there though. Like, there wasn't really much to talk about that day. Except it was hilly and mentally exhausting. And I fought through it. I really had to push through that one. Listen, I'm not a professional video maker. If I need to stop and drink, I'm gonna drink. So yeah, I got there. Now, him and I were still kind of just, bleh. We weren't hanging out on like rest days or after my rides. Because honestly, I just wanted to be alone. I was so frustrated with everything. And I just wanted to be in the room. Honestly, I'm a loner anyways. Like, regardless, I think, of the situation, I think I would have wanted to just be alone anyway. Just resting. So, and again, these rooms were disgusting. Like, glad I brought my own blanket and stuff, because, yeah. So then, next day, it's called for rain. And oh, sorry. I do remember one part of this ride, of the ride from Pennsylvania to Maryland. The heat, it was so hot. It was about 90 degrees, 88% humidity. And there was one point where, like, I saw another hill and I was like, I gotta stop. And I got off my bike and I made a quick video and I posted it. And a lot of people were like, and I was like, what did I say? I said something like, I don't know if I can go on, or no, I don't think I said that. I said something along the lines of, I need some motivation or something. And I think I said, even if you have my number, text me right now because I need the motivation. And I said, like, it's 90 degrees. The humidity is 88%. It's rough. And people were like, your safety first. No, sorry. I'm just remember this. All right. So no, this is the day from Elkton to Baltimore. I remember it was raining on and off. It was raining on and off. That's right. Because I'm trying to picture the videos and what I was wearing. So it called for rain. Raining was. This is the day that I put the poop bags over my shoes, tied them around my ankles because I was like, I'm not getting water in these shoes today. And I tied them up, and I was heading on my trip to Baltimore in the rain. I felt good though because everything was still dry. I was like, yes, I'm the best. Yes. So then this is the trip. It was on and off rain, and there. Dude, why am I thinking this wrong? Sorry, you're hearing this story multiple times now. Yes, it was that day because I remember that road. It was just one long road, one long hilly road. You know what? Forget which day it was. It was in between these 2 days. But I do believe this was the trip to Baltimore. And I sat there and I told my friend, I was like, I might have you come get me because it's hot and it's just hot. And he said something to me that flipped a switch for me. And he said, yeah, whatever you need, if just let me know. It's not worth it. He was like, yeah, it's like the humidity is like 90%. It's not worth it. And when he said it's not worth it, I sat back and I thought about it. And I said to myself, and I'm just thinking here, I was thinking to myself, like, it's not worth it for you. And this wasn't like a disrespectful comment that I was thinking or thought that I was thinking. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was thinking you're just one of those people that you can't see my vision. You don't have the same goals as me. You don't have the same drive as me. You don't have the same strength as me. And I know that because of that comment. No shade to you, but I know that you don't have what I have because of that comment. You damn right it's worth it. I'm going to figure, and that's what, and people were replying to my, my tweet with, if you need to take the time, if you need to stop and get a ride, take the time, all of that. And I was like, no, that's not me. I'm not a quitter. I don't like, and I'm reminded of David Goggins a lot of the things that I think in my head. I'm not saying I'm David Goggins because I could never be David Goggins, but I'm reminded of him when I look back on times like moments like that. I remember he was talking about how he was going for a run, like a long run, and he was going to bring somebody, and then it started pouring, and this person was like, oh, let's just do it tomorrow. And he was like, all right, I'll run again with you tomorrow, but I'm going to go now still. And he did that. And it's like, it's so cool that I feel like I pushed myself to the limits because there was a chance that I could have overheated. I could have been dehydrated. I could have had heat exhaustion. I was hot, but I was also doing what I needed to do as far as hydrating. I was very smart about hydrating and being fed because I didn't want to put myself in that situation. Yeah, I wanted to push my limits, but smart. I didn't want to be in a situation where I overheat and I mess my trip up because then that's my fault for not doing things the right way. Like I had all this time. I was training from February for this to learn all this stuff that I needed to do to take care of myself. So I trusted myself in that decision that I was not going to quit. I trusted my training. I trusted that I was doing what I needed to do so that I wouldn't pass out. I wouldn't get overheated. I would be hydrated. I would make it. This is all just in my head. And it was because I sucked it up. I drank some water, got back on my bike, rode up that hill, and I rode the rest of that ride. And I made it to Baltimore. So now we get to Baltimore, and this is the first day I noticed that he isn't out there with my camera, which pissed me off. But also he says, wow, this is really shady. I don't know if I really want you riding through here. It's kind of suspect. Like I've been in some shady places and I've never been to a place like this bad. And again, he put it in my head to have him come pick me up. I was like, all right, when I get to the end of this long highway, I'll have 5 miles left. I'll have you come get me. And I like the rest of the ride towards that 5 mile mark. I was like, no, what's going to happen? Like, this isn't like, just ride the ride. Like who's going to catch me on a bike? I'm like, who's gonna catch me on the bike? Like, nobody, they can't outride me. I don't have anything they want. You can't outride me. And this is another thought I had, and I heard and I'm gonna say it wrong, the expression about what a true warrior is. And again, David Goggins was talking about how somebody asked him how he felt when he would be behind the door of an enemy, because he was in the military, and knowing that there's an enemy on the other side, not knowing if it's booby trap, not knowing if they have a gun, not knowing if they have a bomb, not knowing what's on the other side of that door, but you still push forward and you do it because you know this is what you signed up for. And that's how I feel, because sometimes I would think, especially in like New York, and this is where it goes back to that first day, how I changed over the days when I was in New York and riding on these busy streets. That there were some times where the navigation put me on a highway, and I was like, okay, this is an actual freeway, and I would have to fly to get off of it. And in my mind, I would say, you know what, somebody could hit you and you could die. And then I would instantly think, but if that happened, would you be happy with what you've accomplished? Would you go out being remembered for something good? And the answer was always yes. And to somebody else that can't see, that can't, it's so hard to explain for somebody that doesn't get it, for somebody that's not in this situation. And again, I'm not bragging. A lot of you know where I've come from and who I used to be, and you know what I'm talking about. For me, that I can say, if something happened to me where I either died from overheated and in the ditch, nobody knew, or if I got hit by a truck, if something happened, I would be proud of what I've accomplished and how far I've come and what I was doing. You can't say that I went out a B. You can't say that I went out a punk. You can't say that I didn't go out doing something good. And like I said, not bragging. My purpose for the ride was that, but these are the thoughts that you have. They're not bragging thoughts. They're not bragging. I'm not bragging about them. I'm literally telling you the thoughts going through my head. So yeah, when I was going through Baltimore, I was like, I don't care. Shoot me. And it honestly wasn't as bad as he explained it, to be honest, though. So I get to the Baltimore hotel. He doesn't have the camera out, so I'm kind of annoyed. Because now he is showing me signs that he's just giving up or whatever. Like, you're ruining my trip. Whatever we have going on, like, put it aside for one and realize what you have contributed to my irritation. So I go to my room in this hotel. I think this was, Baltimore had to be the most disgusting of the hotels. There were black flies all in my window. Like, I sprayed them with some Febreze to kill them, and I had him wipe them out and put them away in the trash. And then there were two that got stuck in the bathroom. I was like, forget it. And I shut the door. And I bird bathed that one because I was so disgusted to get in that shower. Like, I just wanted nothing to do with anything. I just wanted to go to sleep and this day to be over and get on the road again. And so, I've never left a hotel room so fast, because when I woke up, there were more black flies. They were on my pillow. They were on my bed. They were in the window again. And I was just like, so I went to the front desk. I was like, you charged me $175 for a room. There was $100 like deposit fee, security fee that you were going to get back. And I was like, you charged me $175 to sleep in a room with black flies. Like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And he went in there and he was like, did you leave the window open? No, I didn't leave the window open. And he refunded $100 of my dollars. Like, this is disgusting. Motel 6, you're disgusting. And I have pictures of it. Like, I left so fast that day. I ate pizza. I ate pizza from the night before. And normally on all the days, we bought a microwave just so I could eat properly the days of my ride. I didn't want to stay in there. I wanted to get everything out. I ate my cold pizza that I put in my car. I left it in my car overnight because I was like, you know what? I don't want to attract anything in here. So I left it in my car. I ate cold pizza that morning because I didn't want to. I was in such a rush to get out of there. I didn't want to pack. I didn't want to leave anything. So nasty. Nastiest visit of this whole thing. Nastiest. Absolute most disgusting. So now we're in it, and like we are. What was the first stop? The first stop in Virginia. So now we're going from Maryland to Virginia. Sorry, I just want to see. And my mom was actually coming. My mom was coming. Where did I ride to? Where the heck did we ride to that day? So my mom was coming in when we got to Springfield, Virginia. Yeah, we went to Springfield first. So this was a really cool day. Weather was kind of cloudy. I wanted to get out of Baltimore so fast. It was so disgusting. I don't even want to tell you what I saw on the bridge. There were just drug addicts everywhere on the street. Like Baltimore needs to get it together. Yeah, it was rough. But this was the ride to Springfield, Virginia. About 55, 60 miles. I was still feeling good. My body was fine. Got to ride through DC, and I was riding, and it was just so beautiful riding through there. Honestly, it was like a mix of New York. It was just so cool riding through Washington, D.C. streets. And then I got to Virginia, and I saw a sign for the United States Marine Corps memorial. And hold on. So I saw the sign. I was like, oh. Sorry, I'm trying to see something. So it was Arlington. I finally got to Arlington, and I remember it was starting to rain, not pour, but it was just like drizzle, cloudy. And I saw the sign, and it said it was right up the street, and I was like, F it, I'm gonna go. I believe this is one of the places that I wanted to see. And I got there, and it was really cool. There was like Marines leaving. I don't know why they were there. Well, I do know why they were there. It was 9/11. It was 9/11 that day. And they had in either September 10th or the 11th, but they had all their dogs, like their military dogs. It was so cool seeing them. And then I rode my bike in, and I saw the statue. getting emotional. So I saw the statue of the men holding up the flag on Iwo Jima. And like I feel like it all just hit me. And I rode down there and I locked my bike up and I got up the top of the hill and I saw it and I was like and it hit me and I was just like, wow, I rode my bike here. And I know you guys have seen that video that I made, and because I wanted to share the moment with you. Like, I'm not afraid of that. I don't want attention. I just, for all the people that know what I've gone through to get to this trip and everything that I put into it, I wanted to share the moment because it was a special moment for me. The fact that I rode my bike there and the fact that that was one of the places that I wanted to see, that I made a plan to see, and that I rode my bike there, that I set out on this mission to do this and I accomplished it, and I am here to see this memorial honoring the Marines. It was very emotional. As you can see, it hit me just like everything was hitting me at once at that moment. Like, wow, I'm here. I'm in Virginia. I just rode my bike to Virginia. I rode my bike to Virginia. And I took it all in and I left and I ended up stopping. Some guy saw me on my bike and I told him what I was doing and he was just like, wow, that's so cool. And we talked and it was just cool. And so I got to Springfield to that hotel and me and my friend had a blowout because he wasn't out there again. Still not out there doing my videos. Like, he was just out of it and it was a whole thing. So I went back to my room and my mom was coming the next day, so I wanted to get to... I had plans for all these memorials to see, but with COVID, a lot was shut down. So I went to... It was raining. I went to the Arlington National Cemetery, and they had restrictions. They were, like, a lot of the sites weren't open. Like, I wanted to see so many things, but they weren't open. But I was able to go into Arlington National Cemetery because we do have a family member that's buried there. And it was raining and you had to follow so many rules and like for where you walked and all that. And I walked in and I saw all the graves. And I was like, I'm not going to cry. I need to find his grave. So I need to focus. So I had like my phone and I was looking for this site and I was trying to look at this picture and count, and it was tough finding, but I stopped and I breathed and I was like, and I said his name and I was like, I know we've never met. It was my mom's uncle, and I was like, I know we've never met, but I'm really trying to find you. And I sat there and I breathed rather than my normal Danielle self and flip out because I can't find it and stress myself out. And I counted again and I finally found it and I started bawling. Like, bawling. And I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like, it was a lot of emotion for me because I was just asking him. I said, I hope he's proud. And I know he doesn't know me, but we were family, and that I know he's with Grandpa, and I hope they're up there proud of me. And that I know I wasn't the best grandchild. Like, I didn't spend enough time with them. as much as I wish I did. But I hoped that they were all up there watching me and that they were all just proud of me for what I was doing and that I respected them for what they did for us. And you really don't, like, it's hard to explain. It's very hard to explain when you feel like a lot of guilt. Because I have always felt a lot of guilt with my grandparents that, hello, I didn't spend enough time with them because I was in my own head and I let my own crap affect that. And they died and I felt like I just always felt like I didn't spend enough time with them and I could have done better. But I can't live in regrets. You can't change the past. So part of me was always just, I rode with their pictures every single day on my training rides. Every ride that I go on, they're with me for the most part. So this whole trip, they were in my bag with me. And my grandfather's Navy picture was there. And I was always, if I felt like I was struggling, I would put my hand on it. And I would just tell them that I love them. And I would always ask if they were proud of me. And so when I went to my mom's uncle's site, even though I didn't know him, I know he was family and I hoped he was proud too. And that's all I wanted from them. So I went there and I told them that I just wanted them to be with me for the rest of the ride. Sorry, that was gross. And I just needed their strength, and there were so many heroes there. It's a beautiful place. It's a sad place, but it's a beautiful place. I'm glad I got to go there. Because if I was able to see one thing, I wanted to be able to go to the Arlington National Cemetery. So left there, went back. My mom came. God. My mom is great. My mom was a big help for my trip. She's helped with everything. My mom is very supportive of whatever I do. She may not always be on the same page, but she's always supportive. So the day we leave there, or that I leave there, I'm riding. It's a fine ride. This one's to Fredericksburg. And was this one to Fredericksburg? Yeah. So this ride is to Fredericksburg, Virginia. And it's a quick ride, 38 miles. I'm like, I can do that. I can do that in 2 hours. I'm a professional. So 38 miles, right? And I get to the stoplight. And there's a car next to me, and he starts driving, and the light's still red. And I'm like, I hate when people do that. Because they assume the light's about to turn green, they just go. It ended up turning green, but he was already halfway through it. And I'm just sitting there shaking my head, and I start going, and I run over an earring. Mind you, we're on like day 12, 13. We're on like day 13. I haven't even had to pump the tires of my bike. Tompkins Bike Town, thank you for those the tires. Like, if I'll have to find out those tires, and then I gotta go over there and tell them thank you. I didn't have to pump those tires once in that 13 days so far. They've gotten me there. Not even in the slightest deflation. Whatever. But I run over this tiny earring, this little teddy bear earring, and it pops my front tire. So now I'm just like, so I have 2 bikes. I bought a second bike. Second bike, I was testing it out when I was at home, and it hurt. Like, it's kind of short. The frame is all the same. It's the handlebars that aren't in the right position. And I wasn't able to have the bike shop adjust them because they wouldn't have had enough time to get the part in, because bike parts are like hard to come by. So I bought a new seat for it, and we were gonna put that on, but internally I didn't want to even have to touch the bike. So I called him, and he comes with the bike, and I'm like, no, let's go to the bike shop because I need to get it fixed anyways, because we have the 100-mile ride coming up. Sorry, this is so gross. So on my phone, it says that the REI is open at 10 o'clock. It's Sunday, though. So we go, not open. The door says 11. But we have to check out of the hotel at 11. So I'm like, all right, let's just go back to the hotel, check out of the room. Now my friend here is acting confused. Like, he doesn't know what we're doing. And I'm getting just frustrated because I'm just like, this is simple. We're going to get the dogs. We're checking out of the hotel room. And then we're going to come back and get a different tire. What's so hard about that? And it was just this whole thing. So I'm frustrated, I'm irritated, and I've had it. So we finally go, and I'm snapping at my mom, snapping at him. I honestly just want to get back on the bike because now like an hour has been wasted. I just want to get back on the bike and go. So get my new tire. Cool. We go to the hotel. Again, he's not out there. And so all these thoughts are going through my head, right? Like, I'm irritated. I ended up having to take a break because I was just, like I said, it was 38 miles, but this was another mental day. Like, it seems like the shorter rides were the toughest on my mentality, on my mental state, whatever you want to call it. The shorter days were the hardest. And so I had to sit down and take a break because I felt like exhausted. And I know it wasn't physically. I mean, it was because my brain was working. Like, I was getting so worked up inside my head that it was physically exhausting me. So, and now at this point also, he hasn't been checking on me. He hasn't been seeing if I need anything. None of that has been going on. So, and I'm noticing this. Like, it might not seem like I am, but I'm picking up on it. I'm realizing what's happening. You're just slacking. Like, part of this trip, like, you're here to support me. Again, I appreciated it a lot. I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. But part of the support, and you've known me for 2 years, you know who I am. I've told you what I would, before we even came on this trip, I told what I would need. That I'm going to need the support. When I'm having these moments of like this mental crap is when you need to be there for me. Was never there for that. Because it was all, we're having to deal with you. Rather than you just being here literally to just support me like you said you would. So, I get there. Like, my stuff's in the car. He's not out there. My mom's not out there. Nobody's there. And in my mom's defense, I snapped at her because of the moment that I was in. She didn't know what I expected. She didn't know. He did know, though. So he comes down, and I absolutely lose my my ish. Like I lose it on him. And I lost it. I literally I snapped. And I mean, I told him what I felt. I said I feel like you're high all the time and you're not focusing, because that's what it felt like. And so he's like, oh, basically said, oh, so I just wasted a month of my life. Sorry, but it's been 14 days, my friend. No, it had been 13 days. It wasn't a month. So I just wasted a month of my life. No, you didn't, for one. And then, so I'm going off on him. My mom's like, D, stop. Which annoyed me too, because you haven't been here this whole time. You don't know what this whole background situation has been for me. All you're seeing is what you're seeing right now. So he's up there on the phone, and he did it so I could hear him. You know how people do that stuff? They say something in your vicinity because they know you can hear. He said he was telling this person to come and get him. And in my mind, I'm like, who is coming to get you in Virginia? So I went up there and I was like, do you have something to say to me? And we went at it again, and he basically said like that he's ruined my whole trip, and I told him too. I was like, you aren't here for me. You never once on that trip, on this ride, checked on me to see if I needed anything. The day before, you didn't either. You haven't been checking on me to see if I need something. I have a lot on my plate, and your part is to be here to help me. But you're internalizing everything. You're taking everything personal, and you're interrupting that. And I said, I feel like you're on drugs. I feel like this. I feel like that. And we ended up squashing it. We were fine. He ended up staying and not calling somebody to get him. And then I went downstairs. He ended up he was like asleep the entire day. Like, again, I'm not gonna put the business out there, but he wasn't there the entire day. He was up in the room, just out of it the entire day. So the next day was the ride to Richmond. Second to last ride. Let's stop it here so I can go blow my nose and get some water. Hello?